Hello, Star Trek fans. Welcome to ReBingeIT. This is the ReBinge Star Trek Voyager podcast. My name is Kim.
And my name is James.
And we are rebinging Star Trek Voyager from the beginning, one episode at a time. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're on Season 4, Lucky Number, Episode 13.
Yes.
Waking Moments. This episode aired January 14th, 1998. So we've crossed into a new year.
Happy New Year, everyone. In the past.
Last week's episode was Mortal Coil with Neelix. Anything to say about that one before we start on this one?
Wow. Did we ever get it wrong at the beginning of that episode, how long we were going to talk?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was going to be a 38-minuter.
And I agreed with you.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up talking for like almost 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm really surprised.
I guess we had a lot to talk about.
I guess.
And the edited one is pretty long as well, so.
Well, again, I don't think we're going to talk that much about this one, but who knows?
I feel that might be tempting fate saying that, Kim.
Well, maybe we should just guess. I will guess this one will be 53 minutes long after editing.
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to say 46.
Okay. There's our guess. Let's see what happens.
And I'll go back and edit these and put in the exact
so that
timing.
You're right all the time?
Yeah,
okay.
so we'll look genius.
Great. Are you ready to get started?
I am.
We open with a series of short, kind of weird scenes. First, we have Seven summoning Harry to Jeffrey's Tube 37 Alpha urgently.
Yep.
Then we have Tuvok being called to the bridge from his bed. Janeway enters a dark, empty mess hall and calls out for Neelix. And Tom is on a shuttle by himself doing, I don't know, shuttle stuff.
Doing Tom stuff. Yeah, shuttle stuff. Yeah.
And then we revisit everyone. We see a close-up shot of Tuvok's face as he walks to the bridge greeting crew members. The crew members seem shocked at his appearance, but we don't actually see him.
Right.
In the Jeffries tube, Seven reveals she lured Harry here to be intimate and throws him up against the wall and kisses him. On Tom's shuttle, he loses helm control, and there are explosions behind him. He urgently calls Voyager for an emergency beam out, but Chuckles can't hear him.
There goes another shuttle, I guess.
And Tom, apparently. Back to Janeway, and she finds Neelix in the dark mess hall, and he's acting a little weird, but she asks where everybody is, and he leads her to a dark corner and turns on the lights, revealing a horrific scene of 4 dead crew members, still in uniform, propped up at a table, sort of decaying, and all covered in spiderwebs.
Okay, that was excellent. That was creepy as hell. The dark mess hall and the skeletons. Very good.
Yes. And then we go back to Tuvok, who arrives at the bridge, naked, where everyone is pointing and laughing at him. He says, in his haste to get to the bridge, it appears he neglected to put on his uniform. He retreats to the turbolift. In the turbolift, he is surprised to see an unfamiliar alien staring at him.
Yeah.
This guy is a little Cardassian-like, I would say, but instead of a spoon on the forehead, he actually has more of like a down arrow pointing to his nose.
And under his chin, he has like a talon sticking out kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a spike or a tooth or I don't know what. But actually, I didn't notice that here when it's front on to his face. I see it later when we see him from the side. But yeah, he has that. And then also just the way he's standing there staring, you can see like 4 teeth. In his mouth. So this is and he has really deeply sunken human eyes. So he is a little shocking looking. Back to the captain, who asks what happened to the corpses, and Neelix says, they died. You didn't get them home in time. At this moment, Janeway also sees the weird alien, and she sort of gasps. And we go to Tom, as his shuttle seems to be crashing. He also sees the alien who appears like outside of the shuttle window. Yeah. It was like that episode of Deep Space Nine, right? Where Jake walked in on Nog's simulation and he's just like, all of a sudden he just appears outside the window. It's very funny.
It's like, did Tom just run this guy over? Splat.
Could have been that. That was like, of all the things that happened in this episode, that was so cheesy and so funny.
Unintentionally funny.
Yeah. The same alien then appears in the Jeffries tube, causing Harry to overact and scream. I mean, he screams. And then we see Harry is actually in his bed, and this is all a dream.
You know it had to be a dream. Seven is not going for Harry.
Yeah, especially when Tuvok is naked. You're like, okay, these are obviously dreams.
Yeah.
Well, Harry thrashes around, but he doesn't wake up. But we do see Tuvok, Janeway, and Tom all bolt awake in their beds, as if from a nightmare.
Yeah.
And we go into the opening credits.
Okay, interesting start here. So it seems these dreams are the fears or desires of the crewmates. I mean, Janeway's obvious concern about getting the people home and her guilt about the people who've been killed to this point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's probably what Freud would say, right? So in Star Trek fashion, maybe. I mean, my experience is more that dreams tend to be really from whatever happened on the day.
Yeah.
I have lots of nightmares during really stressful times, but not necessarily about the things that are stressing me out.
Yeah.
I will have dreams of people chasing me, but that's not what's happening that's not what's causing my stress in real life.
Are they members of executive management with timescales and budgets?
Not usually.
Oh.
Not usually.
I mean, Harry's dream could be his fear of Seven wanting to assimilate him.
It could be. He does seem to be afraid of her. Well, after the credits, B'Elanna appears at Tom's door to tell him he missed their breakfast date by 40 minutes. He slept through her calls, apparently. He complains they keep missing each other, and they set a date for Friday, while Tom continues to be a pretty bad boyfriend.
What was the point of this scene?
I don't know.
It feels like did they have time that they needed to fill?
Maybe. I mean, I guess if they wanted to extend the Tom-B'Elanna relationship a little, I guess it does that because it shows they're still trying to have a relationship. But it also did show that Tom was sleeping so heavily he didn't hear the calls.
Right.
So,
that's a good point. Yeah.
But the rest of the conversation, oh my gosh, yeah, where they're going on about going skiing or going to Tahiti, it's like none of that matters. Except to show that Tom is like not willing to compromise.
Well, it continues Tom's a really bad boyfriend.
Because,
it doesn't really matter what B'Elanna wants. Tom is the important one here.
Right. We should probably add a third category, especially since the women in the future stuff doesn't get a lot of things on Voyager. Every now and then something comes up. I mean, on Deep Space Nine, it was every episode. There was some crazy crap going on with the women characters, but here it's not quite as much. So maybe we need to add a relationship advice. We'll add James's relationship advice.
Yeah.
To the end of the categories. Okay.
Could be a new thing, yeah.
Tom goes to the mess hall to get coffee, but Neelix accidentally pours him a cup of cooking oil. It seems he also had a night of fractious sleep and nightmares. Tom is looking right at the cup when he pours it, so Tom missed it too. Coffee and cooking oil do not look the same.
I don't know. It depends on what Neelix's coffee is like, and maybe this is the cooking oil since Neelix is first arrived on the ship.
Oh, gross.
It adds flavor.
Janeway arrives on the bridge a bit late to her shift, but Tom and Harry are also late. She complains about having nightmares. Turns out Chakotay also had a nightmare about being forced to hunt with his father. And then he saw a weird alien that he hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take long for everyone on the bridge to realize they saw the same alien and they were all having nightmares.
Okay. Everyone is having a dream featuring this strange-looking alien.
Mm-hmm.
This should be a 6-alarm fire.
Red alert.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
This is slightly beyond a coincidence.
Yeah, it's like an intruder alert.
Weren't you expecting Harry to come onto the bridge and say, I had this amazing dream?
Janeway says, let's get the senior staff together and figure this out. But when they call Harry, he doesn't answer. Janeway and Tuvok head to his quarters where they find him still asleep and they cannot wake him up. So, of course, we're off to sickbay.
I was wondering about why Tuvok would be embarrassed.
We can talk about that in overanalysis because, that was my thing too. Like, why would he have that dream?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense for Vulcans. So in sickbay, we've got several crew members in the same state as Harry.
Yeah.
The doctor says it's a hyper-REM sleep, but he's unable to wake them up.
Are they all dreaming about making out with Seven?
Oh, could be. Yeah. He suggests everyone currently awake take a nimazine to avoid falling asleep.
And that's the plan. Just don't fall asleep.
Yeah. We don't, like you said, we don't call a red alert or make an announcement to the crew. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, just try not to fall asleep. Yeah.
I'm sure everything's fine.
Good plan. Good plan.
So the senior staff is trying to do a facial reconstruction exercise of the alien they saw. B'Elanna, who, by the way, she seems to be wearing a jacket over her uniform while standing behind a chair, as if maybe she's hiding something. Not sure. Feels a little Beverly Crusher-like.
So I think we know why this is.
But they get the alien's face into a state they all recognize. No one knows what species it is, even Seven.
Okay. Now, is this the first example of AI art generation. They're just describing what it looks like and the computer's filling it in. Like people do AI descriptions.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Instead of having a sketch artist, the computer is doing it. Mm-hmm. Tuvok wonders if the alien is trying to make telepathic contact, but Janeway says, for all we know, it's some sort of attack. Again, call red alert.
I'm with Janeway on this one. You're in the Delta Quadrant.
Right. There's no evidence of a ship or inhabited planet nearby, so Chuckles suggests we try to make contact through a technique called lucid dreaming, where you can actually control the dream you're in. He's done it before, using the device that he used on Neelix in the last episode, whatever that little red device is called. Janeway asks how he'll be able to wake up, and he says it's like self-hypnosis. He'll choose a visual cue to know he's dreaming, like Earth's moon. Once he sees it, he can wake himself by tapping the back of his hand 3 times. Tuvok, of course,
the downer,
is worried. Well, I mean, he cautions that it might not work in this situation because he's never been in this situation before. But of course, they don't have any other ideas, so Janeway agrees. And she tells everyone else to get to work scanning for the aliens. Back to sickbay, the doctor does not recommend this course of action. Shocking. But of course, we're going to do it anyway. Also not shocking. Chuckles holds his little football game device, and we unfortunately get another Akuchi Moya.
Yeah.
That's 2 weeks in a row. Oh my God, stop doing that. He goes into a dream where he's walking on Voyager carrying a spear. He sees a deer in the distance and follows it into the mess hall.
I feel there's a level of cultural insensitivity in this.
Every time they do anything with Chakotay, it's like, oh no, what are you doing? So he's followed this deer into the mess hall where he sees the Earth's moon outside the window, and he realizes he's now in control of the dream. The deer, though, suddenly morphs into the weird alien, and he and Chakotay get into a tussle.
This was an interesting effect because the deer does this great morph. It's a good piece of early CGI and probably was horribly expensive. But if you notice, when it's almost fully formed into the alien, they cut it to Chakotay and then cut back to the actor in full alien makeup.
Sure.
So I wonder if this was done deliberately because maybe the end of the effect didn't look very good.
Well, it needed, because now it needed to be the guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chuckles tells the alien he knows they're in a dream, but the alien says it's much more than that. This is his reality.
Yeah.
For centuries, the waking species, as he calls them, have found his people in a state that they think is sleep, and they try to destroy them. But he says, not anymore. We're in control now, and one by one, you will fall into our reality, and we will destroy you.
He could have at least given an evil laugh at the end of that.
Yeah, there was no laugh.
Yeah.
Chuckles claims complete ignorance, saying, we did not attack you. He says, if you just tell us how to wake up, we'll leave your space. When the alien doesn't respond well, Chuckles does what he always does. He switches to threatening.
Yeah.
And he says he's able to wake up anytime he wants, and when he does, he'll start looking for the aliens. And he says, you wouldn't want that.
Well, in Chakotay's defense, this does seem to be another one of those naturally jerky Delta Quadrant species.
Yeah. So the alien seems to change his tune and tells him to fly toward a 6-planet system within a parsec of their current location. That's a marker of the nearest border of their space. He says everyone will wake up when Voyager is out of their space.
Yeah.
This is where they showed the guy from the side here, and I saw that little horn or tooth or whatever it is pointing up from his chin.
Right, an additional fang.
Well, Chuckles taps his hand 3 times and bolts awake in sickbay.
Question here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you think Chakotay was really awake, or was he still in the dream at this point?
At this point, I thought he was awake.
Yeah.
But I was also shouting, it's a trap, at the screen. Janeway and Chuckles head to the bridge where we scan for this 6-planet system and head for it without even questioning it. If perhaps maybe it's a trap.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about it. They chat about how these aliens survive in the dream world, but Janeway says we may never know. Sometimes first contact is also last contact.
I thought that was really interesting. I wonder how many races there are that are like, well, hi, but no thanks. Please do not talk to us again.
Yes. Well, most of the ones they've met in the Delta Quadrant are like, get away from here. Do not come back.
That's been kind of true. I have the feeling a lot of races that are like that are the kind that have great leaders who run their planets.
No. Yeah, I'm sure. They arrive at the border now, and everyone is tired from being forced to stay awake. Harry and the others who were forced asleep now wake up, The doctor asks Harry about his nightmare, but when Seven enters, he panics, and he again overreacts, and he runs away. He overreacts, and he overacts, and runs away.
Harry's really not your favorite character here.
He's so exposed with Jerry Ryan. She's so much better than him. Because like when he hangs out with Tom, Tom is not that much better than him.
Yeah.
They're fine together. They're fine. But Jerry Ryan is almost too good. That's why she works so well with Tuvok and with Janeway, right?
Well, I feel Tom can do bro energy really well.
Yeah. I do think Harry's very good with B'Elanna. I'm not sure why. I think maybe they just somehow bounce off each other a little bit better.
Well, I wonder, because this is kind of the classic relationship thing, how much of the writing is just clunky. It doesn't have a lot of depth to it. So with Harry and B'Elanna, there was this, I wouldn't call it rivalry, sort of frenemies kind of thing.
No, they're not frenemies. They're just more like friends, I would say.
Well, initially, that was what it was. And then they became friends. So it's got a little more, it's got some more legs to it.
Yeah, the writing with Seven and Harry's terrible. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. But somehow she's able to rise above it, and he isn't.
Right.
Like I said, there's so much cheesy stuff in this episode, and everything that happens between Seven and Harry is just cheesy and silly. It's almost like childish.
Yeah, because I thought Garrett, when he's given something good, can, like, the episode where the timeline changed. I thought he was great in that one.
He was fine. In the mess hall now, we are comparing nightmares. When Harry won't reveal his story, B'Elanna figures out it involved a woman.
Oh, she could read him like a book. I do like that.
Just say you were being chased. I mean, that's the easiest nightmare.
Yeah, you could just say, I kept on dreaming Seven was trying to assimilate me. Yeah,
that works too.
Although, I loved the humor in this scene when Neelix is relaying his dream about how he was being boiled alive in a pot of Leola root.
Yeah, his own stew.
Yeah, his own stew. And then Sister B'Elanna, but it was perfectly seasoned.
And you can see Roxanne Dawson laugh at that as well. Tuvok also will not open up about his dream, so Neelix speculates a Vulcan nightmare would be being alone, exiled on a planet where the only form of communication is laughter.
Good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But then the ship seems to be being attacked, and everyone is called to the bridge.
Finally a red alert.
On the bridge, someone is indeed attacking us, and our weapons don't do much. Janeway says we seem to have a knack for provoking strangers these days. True.
It's just the Delta Quadrant is full of jerks.
Yes. Anyway, of course, it's the sleeping aliens, and they've managed to disable Voyager. B'Elanna says there's a localized dampening field around the ship, so they don't have engines, shields, or weapons. Chuckles finally realizes he was lied to and lured into a trap.
Once again, you're in the Delta Quadrant. What are the chances of these people actually being, pleasant, nice aliens, or
so slim,
awful people who will lead you into a trap?
Yeah.
Come on, Chakotay, which one has it most likely been so far in your journey?
Well, it's so funny here because Janeway says, you couldn't have known it was a trick.
Really?
I beg to differ.
I think a better play on that scene would have been Janeway hitting Chakotay on the back of the head and shouting, dumbass.
Now, Red isn't here anymore.
She might have picked that up from him. There might have been some strange spatial crossover hitting into Janeway's mind.
I'm sure. Multiple vessels approach now, and the aliens beam to the bridge and take over very quickly, and the crew is marched to a cargo bay where everyone is gathered. Tuvok surmises the aliens used their dreams to uncover their weaknesses. So they start to formulate a plan of escape that requires a diversion. Seven throws Harry to the floor and starts a fake fight. She tells him to fight back.
I'm pretty sure this is actually a dream of Harry's.
Okay. No comment on people wishing violence on themselves. She tells Harry to fight back, and he takes, again, the most ridiculous overacting swing, and everyone sort of jumps into action. Chuckles and B'Elanna sneak away to start working on the power grid, and Tom takes off to try to get into the Jeffries tubes. When Chakotay and B'Elanna are, in a dark corner where apparently no one can see them.
Yeah, they took a panel off somewhere so they could get at the electronics behind.
Right. And what does Chakotay see? The moon. He realizes he's still asleep.
I thought that was very good because I didn't actually remember this. I thought it was genuinely a trap that they placed in Chakotay's mind. So when this happened, it was like, oh, he was actually asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they actually did a nice job there of leading you down this path and then it not being correct.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Although the writing of, we're going to cause a diversion to keep the guards occupied. Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah, these are some dumb guards.
Yeah, I feel that was Friday afternoon writing. Maybe 4:45. We got to get the script done.
Yeah, it was a bit lazy. At the same time, if you looked at it this way, it is a dream.
Oh, okay.
And stuff in a dream, you do like skip to different things, right, in your dream. Not everything is explained.
Yep.
So I guess if you look at it like that, it's not so bad.
Okay.
Well, 2 of the aliens grab Chakotay, but he is still able to tap his hand 3 times and wake up in sickbay. The doctor says, "You're awake." And he says, "Am I? Are you sure?" And he looks around for the moon, and he doesn't see it.
Nice touch.
I did like that. The doctor tells him everyone else on the ship has fallen asleep, and Chakotay himself has been asleep for 39 hours.
Ouch.
The doctor says he'll soon have to start feeding the crew intravenously.
Okay, question here.
Yeah.
Do you think Chakotay has been asleep all the way back to his first appearance on the bridge when they're talking about the dreams?
Oh, you've blown my mind. I don't know. I guess it's possible, but is it a joint dream since the beginning?
This is what I think is happening, that all the way back to the very start of the episode with Chakotay talking to Janeway, they're already in the dream. So everything that's happening is all part of the dreamscape, including him having the idea of, the lucid dreaming, etc.
Okay. I am going to say I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does actually happen later when he takes his football game and lays down in sickbay.
Oh.
Because Tom was in a shuttle and blew up.
Yeah.
So
And he woke up.
But I guess you could be dreaming inside the dream, which is what's happening. Yeah, maybe, because that alien keeps appearing.
This is suddenly reminiscent of that movie Inception.
Oh, where you never know if we're awake or not.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie was frustrating. Yeah, I guess it's possible. I don't think so, though.
I think you could go either way.
Mm-hmm. The reason I think that is, I think their field that they were putting up to cause this was getting stronger and stronger as they got closer and closer to them.
So they were awake up until the point where Chakotay did the lucid dreaming. Okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
That would explain how he could actually wake up from the dream. But if he convinced himself within the dream that he could wake up, would that work?
But it does ultimately work.
Yeah.
So
maybe he was convincing himself within the dream.
Or does it work?
That is completely Inception level crazy.
Because later when we think he's awake, is he awake? I don't know. Well, the doctor shows Chakotay that everyone's brainwave pattern is the same. Like, they should have also shown if Chakotay's was the same, I guess. But anyway, this indicates that they're all having the same communal dream. Chakotay says we're under attack, and we can't defeat them in their reality, so we need to find their physical forms in the waking reality.
Yep.
They quickly figure out they shouldn't be doing normal scans and should instead be searching for a neurogenic field like the one everyone is producing in their dreams.
Kind of a cool idea that they're all trapped in the same shared dream.
Because is he awake now? I don't know. Now you've blown my mind.
I think he's awake now because the doctor, if these creatures can get inside people's minds, they probably don't know how to deal with the doctor, especially if you have to be asleep. So they can't command somebody to go to the doctor and hit shut down.
But the doctor is there in a dream later.
Their perception of the doctor. But
yes,
the actual real doctor is still on the ship, at which point, how much can he run automatically? Can you just point the ship in the opposite direction and just go?
Also a good question for later. Yeah. Because if the doctor had any idea that it was because they were close to something, just get the ship as far away from it as possible.
Yeah, how many M-class planets are around here? Let's just head in the opposite direction for a bit.
Well, Chuckles goes to the bridge where everyone is just passed out at their stations. That was quite funny. Yeah. The doctor gives him a shot to stay awake. They quickly locate a neurogenic field on a nearby planet, and we change course. We found that really fast. Which, again, is why I started being suspicious that everything was a dream. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Back in the dream, they are all discussing how Chakotay said he was still dreaming and then he disappeared.
Which I think you should really take seriously on face value.
Yeah. Harry's like, maybe they beamed him away. Harry, you're not helping.
Harry, Tuvok's the one who's always the downer.
Tuvok figures out they could all be in the same dream. They debate it for a bit, and Seven compares it to the Borg's collective consciousness, saying maybe these aliens have a collective unconsciousness. Great idea.
Yes. Listen to Seven, people.
We distract the guards again, somehow. These guards are real dopes. And B'Elanna, Tuvok, and Janeway somehow sneak away without any fuss. In engineering, they find the warp core shut down. They send Tuvok off to tool up, and they try to get the warp core back online, and it comes back online really quickly, but then Major Roddenberry immediately says, warp core breach in 60 seconds. Whoops.
Classic.
They can't stop it from breaching, so they start to evacuate, but Janeway questions the entire situation and decides not to evacuate. She says something isn't right.
Right.
Tuvok and B'Elanna make it into the corridor safely, and they feel a jolt from an apparent explosion, but Janeway just walks out unharmed. She says, we're dreaming.
Or she's a Q-level god. Q has got his ultimate revenge on Janeway by turning her into a Q.
She says Chakotay said lucid dreaming is about taking control, so she just took a chance. Tuvok says, surely there must have been a less extreme method to test your assumption, and I wonder if he's forgotten who he's dealing with. Have you met this woman?
Yeah, you've known her for the last 9 years by this point.
When pressed, she crazy.
Yeah. Fly into the binary pulsars, damn it.
Yes. Walk into the fire, although that got erased, but still.
She still would do it.
Oh, she would still do it. Absolutely.
The ship and the captain are one.
Tuvok suggests they figure out how to regain consciousness, so Janeway looks at her hand as if she might tap it, but we don't see her tap it.
Yeah.
And then, in the next scene, Janeway enters the bridge to Chakotay's surprise, and she says she woke herself up the same way that he did by tapping her hand. Tom then wakes up too, and Chuckle says, let's get out of here. But then he turns and he sees the moon again on the screen. But
yes.
When he taps his hand, he doesn't wake up.
Yeah, that escape route is done.
Yeah, and I've had something similar happen in my dream where something really terrible was happening, and I've just tried to wake myself up. And when you don't wake up, it just gets scarier and scarier and scarier, right? That's how I felt in this moment. I'm like, oh no, I know what that feels like. He struggles with the doctor who says he's hallucinating, but then he wakes up on the bridge again with everyone else still passed out, and the doctor's saying he's awake again. It seems their proximity to the neurogenic field is making it more difficult for Chakotay to stay awake.
Yeah.
He decides to head down to the planet, and the doctor gives him a hypospray to use if he feels himself falling asleep. This just all seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah, especially if proximity to them, these aliens, makes you fall asleep faster.
Yes.
Then seems ill-advised.
Back in the dream world, Janeway tries tapping her hand, saying it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Tuvok says we have to assume Chakotay and the doctor are making every effort to wake us up. Janeway wants to tell the crew they're dreaming and can't be harmed, so they all kind of know, what they're in for.
I like this here because Janeway basically says that they have to take control of this dream. And then she takes the big rifle off Tuvok.
She's like, I got this.
Yeah, and she delivers this great line. Then we turn this dream world of theirs into a nightmare.
She's so great.
Janeway is on.
Oh, that's funny. Yep. Of all the captains, she is the one I would not cross.
Yeah. Gimme Betsy, we're going to go shooting.
Oh my gosh. Down on the planet, Chuckles immediately finds a cave full of sleeping aliens.
Okay. At this point, they found the cave full of sleeping aliens who are doing all this thing. Mm-hmm. Call the doctor, beam back to the ship, and nuke the place from orbit.
Yeah. It's not the Starfleet way, but yes.
You're under attack. Your ship is a threat.
I hear you. I think wake them all up. That'd end it too. That pulls them all out of the dream.
Potentially, yeah.
In the dream state, some aliens try shooting Tuvok and Janeway, and it doesn't harm them. Janeway tells the crew what's happening, but the original alien asks if she's thought about what's happening to their bodies in the waking world. I guess he doesn't know the doctor can feed them to keep them alive, but he says, your bodies are withering away.
Yeah, this is at the point I don't think they understand Voyager and the Doctor, because there's 150 plus people on the ship. Mm-hmm. The Doctor could get to all of them in time and intravenously feed them. I mean, he could probably just leave the Marquis to starve to death, but, at least the Starfleet crew would survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have any way to see the Doctor or interact with the Doctor. They only know what they see in the dreams, right? So, they have no idea if he's still awake there, still doing something.
Right. And he has the
that's a good point.
Mobile emitter, so he's not restricted.
Well, and they don't know that. On the planet, Chuckles has found a transmitter to amplify the neurogenic field, but he can't seem to shut it down or destroy it.
Okay, next step, call the doctor, tell him to put on your mobile emitter and beam down a photon torpedo.
Yeah.
Let's make that 2, and we'll set it off in the cave. Let's make sure it takes them out.
My note says, did you try kicking it?
Did you try shooting the power source? Isn't that always a favorite one for Star Trek? Blow up the power source of the thing?
Yeah, unplug it. That would do it. Well, I think that is what the doctor says. Can you unplug it?
Or, plan B, stand there with a phaser, just vaporizing aliens one at a time. And
until somebody turns it off.
Yeah, until someone turns yeah. Hey, Doc, beam me down Janeway's big rifle.
We could easily solve these problems.
With a lot of battery packs.
The doctor tells Chakotay to use the hypospray because he's acting a bit squirrely. But Chuckles has a different idea. He wants to wake up an alien. He only has, apparently, enough for 1 dose. Like, okay, send him, you have a transporter. Yeah. Beam another dose down to him so he can, give it to himself and then get another one in his hand. It's like, what are we doing?
Maybe take 2 with you?
Yeah, exactly. So his crazy plan is he tells the doctor to go to the bridge and aim a photon torpedo at his location. It will destroy him, the aliens, and the transmitter all at once.
Because apparently you couldn't beam him back on board?
Yeah, why couldn't you? He's got his badge on. He says, fire if you don't hear from me in 5 minutes. First of all, yes. Instead, give 2 orders. Beam me up, and then fire.
2 photon torpedoes at least.
And next, maybe give yourself 10 minutes. 5 minutes is crazy. The doctor protests, but seems to take the order and goes to the bridge. I feel like there are times where the doctor can't access these kinds of systems, but we can work our way around it. Chakotay maybe did something, so he had access. Yeah. But yeah, it seems a little silly. Well, Chuckles wakes up an alien, and that alien disappears from the dream world on Voyager, which of course makes Janeway gloat.
Nice.
She can't help herself.
Oh, yeah. Another aspect of Janeway is she is Kirk-like when she wants to be cocky.
Yeah, and she does it immediately all the time.
Yes.
Chuckles tries to get the alien to deactivate the transmitter, but he falls asleep before he can finish his pitch. And then Chuckles reappears in the dream world. So the aliens think they've won. But he tells the original alien that he has 2 minutes to deactivate the transmitter or the cavern will be destroyed. And this again is when the guy's like, well, then you'll be destroyed. He should have said, no, I got beamed up. I'm fine. But he didn't.
If these aliens have read the dreams of these people, they should have some understanding of what Starfleet is like. And how selfless they will be to save the rest of the crew members. If they had any sense, this alien would be like, oh, he's not kidding. It doesn't matter if he's on the planet if it's going to save the ship. We're screwed.
Especially if it's Janeway. They should have by now, if they're in her, unconscious, they should by now know she's not kidding.
The alien should have put them all back quietly and just gone, nothing happening here. Nothing here. That wasn't us. You're fine. Please leave.
Well, at first the alien isn't sure, but he does decide not to take the chance. And my note here says, that's probably for the best because on Voyager, we are either entirely magnanimous or entirely reckless. We will save you or we will blow you all up. One or the other.
Yes.
The doctor now is recording a log saying he's revived the crew, but now many of them are suffering from insomnia.
Oh.
I can imagine it would be hard to fall back asleep after that.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit worrying.
Yeah.
A little bit of anxiety there.
Chuckles gets out of bed and heads to the mess hall in his weird burlap sack outfit that we've not seen for a while. Neelix is already there. Harry and Tom come in after some late-night hoverball to try and wear themselves out. And then Tuvok also enters, and they laugh about it being time for breakfast.
Yes.
And the episode ends.
Tom and Harry came from the hoverball, and they're both sweaty as anything. That's going to smell terrible.
I know, it's gross, yeah.
Could you have showered before you went to the mess hall?
No, they had to really make it look like they were working hard. Well, let's go into overanalysis. What do you have?
Okay, well, first one I think is, right at the end there where Tuvok comes in, I thought Vulcans needed very little sleep to begin with. Maybe this is Tuvok's normal, waking up time and getting breakfast.
Yeah, maybe this is when he always comes in.
Yeah.
Could be. It's like when you have jet lag and you want breakfast at 3 a.m.
Yes.
We have experienced that.
Yes, particularly in England. Next thing. After the events of cathexis, everyone sharing a dream with a common element should be full red alert. Immediate senior staff meeting. Because this is why I wonder whether all the way back to the beginning it was a dream. Because this has happened before. This almost exact thing has happened before. This is a total the house is on fire concern.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. Yeah, because that was my question of why would we not call red alert as soon as we knew that alien was in everybody's dream? But why wouldn't she even done it in the dream?
Because again, they're dreaming, so maybe not their reactions aren't quite what they should
normal.
be. And the aliens maybe are influencing what they're doing. Okay,
sure. Yeah, I agree we underreacted, which is a hint that perhaps we were already dreaming.
Right, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure it matters, but okay.
Next thing.
Yeah.
The motivations of these aliens. The first representative talks about how they lived in the dreaming world and the waking people killed them or hunted them or did whatever. Is that true? Or is this actually a aggressive conquering alien race who uses this technique to steal ships, to rob people? My take is that's a cover, that this actually is a hostile race. This is how they live, they exist, it's what they do.
Well, I'm not sure, because our history in the Delta Quadrant says they're just another aggressive race.
Yeah.
But you could imagine if the way they existed was like this, where their bodies were so exposed, if anybody found them, they probably frequently were maybe even attacked by accident. Like people didn't know. Do you know what I mean? No, they're fine. This is just how they are. Just leave them. Don't interfere. But I think anybody coming into that area would have the same result.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that is just the way that they are. Yeah, they're aggressive. I don't know exactly what they get from it. Like, I guess, do they get the ship then in the dream world?
I assume that's
because they don't really have it in the real world because they're never awake. I mean, this is, to me, is an example of something. If you dig too far, I think it kind of falls apart.
I assume that they weren't asleep all the time.
Right. They must have some time where they're awake. Yeah.
Maybe they're only actually awake for 4 hours. So in that time, they just do their criminal activity and steal ships and whatever. And then they go back to sleep.
Then, I think this is what they do.
But I see what you mean about when you start digging into it, there are a lot more questions about that. Well, how does this race function?
Yes. Yeah.
They must wake up at some point or their bodies die.
Yeah. And I just don't get what they would do with the stuff that they're taking. I don't.
Okay.
I just don't get it. There should be almost like a bunch of empty ships kind of orbiting their planet.
Yeah, that they've looted, basically.
That would have been a great idea, actually.
Oh, God, that would have been a really good one.
It's like, what's with this ship graveyard here?
Right, when they all finally wake up.
Yeah. I think that was a missing piece.
Yeah. You know, that actually makes me think maybe that whole thing is a lie. They don't really live in the dreaming world. That was, again, just another story, because this is the way that they conquer. This machine that they've developed, that they have, that's what they use. They're not a sleeping species. They're a hostile race. Yeah. Again, using technology to, like cathexis, to run their world.
Or they're telling the truth. And that's why there isn't a bunch of just dead ships in orbit.
Yeah.
And they keep sort of trying to hide, and they're safer. They keep finding a safe space, but then somebody finds them, and then they have to move again.
I will counter that with, then why make everybody on the ship fall asleep? Why not in their dreams maybe give them nightmares that this area of space is hostile? Give them, if you like, premonition dreams of like asteroids crashing into the ship because there's a asteroid field, something like that. So maybe influence is this getting into Freudian? Influence the subconscious that they would not want to go into that area of space?
Yeah, okay. We're rewriting the whole thing again.
That is one of the things we do, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that, I think, actually wraps up my not very long overanalysis.
My first one is I don't buy Vulcans having the naked nightmare.
Yeah. Embarrassment is an emotion, right?
Yeah, and so I think if you turn it around a little bit, and instead his worst nightmare is not living up to the standard that he's supposed to live up to.
Oh, being unprepared.
Yeah, because otherwise, having him be naked probably should have been somebody like Harry.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a good one. Yeah.
Like, I always used to have a dream when I was younger, not that I would turn up somewhere naked, but that it would be in my pajamas. I'm like, why am I in pajamas at school? But, I mean, I think that's a normal human dream. So why give it to the Vulcan who's not going to be embarrassed?
Do you want a dark one?
Yeah.
It's because Vulcans live in constant fear of their intellect and their mind degrading. Like Alzheimer's.
Oh.
They live in fear of losing control and forgetting things and not having that logic and precision because of their brain decaying. So maybe that would be an underlying fear that you would start doing things like this. And it's not the embarrassment, it's the fact that you can't control it anymore.
I think that's legit. That's a really interesting way to look at it. I hadn't thought about that. I read Tim Russ saying he also felt like that wouldn't make sense for a Vulcan to, have that as like some deep, dark fear. Mm-hmm. So he was just trying to play it differently and look at it more like, what does it mean as a Vulcan? So he wasn't trying to play embarrassed. Yeah. It was something else. And what you're saying is that's really interesting. It's like the Vulcans are worried about sort of starting to falter.
Yeah. And plus, people laughing at the Vulcans would look at that as, see, further proof how inferior the emotional people are.
Yeah, I don't think it would bother them to be laughed at. It'd be like, okay, you guys are weird. When Chakotay was awake and they were trying to figure out what to do, why didn't we do a quick check in astrometrics to figure out where the borders were or find us the quickest way possible to get as far away from this neurogenic field rather than trying to go to it?
Yeah.
Because then everybody probably would have woken up and it probably would have been fine.
Yeah, maybe they have difficulty. They can detect where the field is, or the fact that they're in it, but they can't detect how far it goes, what the extents of it are. So the astrometrics wouldn't work. I mean, and plus on top of this, the Borg even had no idea about this species.
Right, yeah, which is quite suspicious.
Yeah. I suddenly thought of something. Seven doesn't sleep. Why did it affect her?
Well, she never said it did, but she was in the dream.
Yeah. Is it because she's becoming more human? Because I thought she just had to regenerate. Is that the same as dreaming?
Yeah, I think at this point she's becoming more human, but she's always standing, which that doesn't work for sleeping as a human. I mean, we know the reason she's standing is because she can't sit or lie down comfortably.
Hard in that costume,
Yeah. No, I did have some questions about Seven, too, in this scenario. Like, was she having nightmares? Because we didn't hear. Maybe because of that. But I think it's possible for them to have put her into that state.
I think I know what her nightmare would be. She would be back on a Borg ship, and everything would be unorganized and unlabeled.
Chaos.
Yes, exactly. Borgs regenerating in random alcoves. None of the cables plugged in the right places.
Right. Of the dreams, I thought Janeway's made the most sense. Like I believe that would be her nightmare. And I believe she obsesses about that, which is why I think she's gotten to the point now where she puts everything else second and getting the crew home first.
Yeah.
Which is not how we started the show, but that is where she is.
That absolutely fits.
Yeah.
And I will say, I like them showing that.
Agreed.
That's at the back of Janeway's mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did too. That was the best one. And I guess Tom's was fine.
You could see that with Tom as well. I mean, he loves flying, so his nightmare would be crashing in a shuttle and not having any control.
Right. So that makes sense. That and letting his girlfriend decide something.
Oh, it's
also his worst nightmare.
Yeah, avoid that.
Yeah. If we go to women in the future and talk about Harry's dream, I mean, we already sort of talked about it, but his dream is lame. Not because it wouldn't happen, but because it's just so obvious. It's just so cringe. It's so obvious why they're doing it. It's dumb.
I just feel sorry for... What was Harry's girlfriend?
See, even we forgot her. It's terrible.
It's Libby. Completely gone. Libby. Thank you.
It's Libby, right?
Yeah.
I'm questioning it. Okay.
I would feel bad for her if Harry could even remember her.
Yeah, we don't talk about anybody's anybody anymore. We don't talk about Mark and the sweater and the dog either.
Oh, yeah. Janeway's given up on the dog.
Oh. In Janeway's leadership corner, I still have a problem with why we didn't question that this thing was a trap.
Yeah.
I guess I get why Janeway didn't question it because she was dreaming.
I think so. At that point, yeah. I assume if there is a point where you can draw a line and say they definitely were in the dream world.
They were all dreaming at that point.
It would be when Chakotay woke up.
Yeah.
So...
The first time, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, when he woke up the first time, correct.
Yeah. But it's just like Chakotay threatened him. So you don't think there's a chance that the guy lied to you? But yeah, I guess our out here is always, well, they were dreaming, so they weren't thinking clearly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fine.
They're being manipulated.
Yeah, they're being manipulated. All right, well, that's all I have. So do you have anything in James's relationship advice corner? I guess since this is all fake, that's a tough one.
Yeah, but I think there is still the underlying issue of Tom is a terrible boyfriend. Like, I mean, we've had some classics in the past of don't tell your girlfriend who's going through an existential crisis about her identity that she's boring, and don't tell them you owe them anything.
Oh, God, that was the worst.
Yeah, and I think learn to compromise with things you want to do.
Yeah.
Activities. It shouldn't always be about you big baby.
Yeah, and it works in all directions. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do those things.
Maybe the best advice I could give, look at relationships in Star Trek and don't follow them.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Going all the way back to Carol Marcus and Miles O'Brien and Tom and B'Elanna.
Unless it's like Picard Data.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty good relationship.
Well, Data and Tasha was a good one as well. Oh, Data and the Borg Queen. That was a good one.
Dax and Kira is pretty good.
Yeah.
Data and the Borg Queen, I reject.
Well,
I reject.
Actually, I will make a slight modification here. The one relationship that actually I thought was really good and I felt at times was really real was Sisko and Cassidy.
Yeah, but remember there's that one where he hedges. She was getting a different job and she was going to be at the station more. I don't know. Remember that also had its challenges.
Yes, there was one of those that wasn't very good, but I think overall I did like it. It worked a lot better than other ones. I still don't think Keiko and Miles should have even been married, but,
I always think about, like, if we go to breakfast, we would know what to order if the other one is not at the table. I always think that's also a good clue.
Yeah. I mean, and for example, Miles and Keiko doesn't even know, how he drinks coffee in the afternoon.
Oh my God, one of the best episodes with those two. I laughed so hard at that one. That was the one with the aliens with the Dilbert hair.
Yes.
Well,
right.
Armageddon Game, I think it was called.
Yes, that is correct.
It's not that that's a great episode. It's just that the whole thing hinges on Keiko knowing something about Miles, and she turns out to be wrong, and it's so funny. It's really funny. I did enjoy that episode, yeah. I would recommend it. Burnham and Book was pretty good.
But that's modern Star Trek, so they tend to write it a little bit less.
A little bit better, yeah. Okay.
Less of a follow the tropes.
Well, let's go to rating. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral? What is your rating?
Absolute solid neutral.
Huh.
This is because it felt like a repeat of Cathexis.
Oh, interesting.
It felt too much like that for me, and it felt too much like a filler episode that, to use your quote from earlier, don't dig into it too deeply.
Yeah, the more we have dug into it, the more I think, is this good?
Yeah. So, it's not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not good. And it's an episode that I can happily skip and just go, oh yeah, that's where they fall asleep. So, I mean, I don't know how many times I've actually even watched this one, but I can't give it better than neutral.
Okay. I'm going to disagree and give it a thumbs up.
Really?
I did in the end think it was entertaining. Like, the moon was spooky, and I really liked how they used it. And they didn't use it too much.
Yep.
But it was like a visual cue where the first time we had the visual cue, it was a good thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like, uh-oh.
Yes.
So I thought it was pretty good. And we're watching it close to Halloween. It's kind of Halloween-y. I give it a thumbs up. It's not enthusiastic, but it is up. Yeah.
Interesting. I thought there was pieces of it that I did like, but I don't think they offset the problems with the story.
I get that. I think the Janeway thing with the crew decaying in the mess hall was a good insight into her.
Oh, agreed.
And every time Chakotay woke up, you're like, did he wake up? I did kind of like really that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do. And also his solution to the problem was not what I thought he was going to do at the end. So I didn't think it was too predictable. So I like that. Yeah. I would have done something different, but it worked. What he did, it worked.
Yeah. They wouldn't have let me into Starfleet with my ideas for how to solve things.
They would not. No. But yeah, I thought it was fine.
Okay. I guess we're on different pages this week.
Yeah. I mean, not too far off, though. I think we're still...
So you're saying it's one of those,
close.
like when I say it just squeaks the thumbs up. That's where you are.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not offensive. The end. Okay, that wraps up Season 4, Episode 13. Come back next week for Episode 14. In the meantime, if you'd like to send us your own overanalysis of this or any episode, or if you just want to say something nice, you can email us at ReBingeIT@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on the socials. We are on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and YouTube at ReBingeIT. And you can join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Star Trek TTM podcasts.
Thanks for joining us on the ReBinge Star Trek Voyager podcast.
That's it for me.
And that's it from me.